Welcome to the greatest Far Cry to have ever Far Cry. The orphaned first child of the Far Cry series. A game in which you fight mercenaries who fight mutated monkeys who fight alongside mutated mercenaries. A game in which you duel a helicopter with a paraglider. Duel a helicopter on board a sinking ship. Duel a helicopter in a jeep. You get the idea. You blow up more helicopters than the Mujahideen. A game in which you detonate a tactical nuclear warhead to piss off an old Mark Zuckerberg, who then proceeds to kick you off yet another helicopter into a mutant-infested forest, and then tries to turn your girlfriend into a lizard person like him. Featuring Jack Carver.
What is this? A bad spy movie?
A forklift certified love interest. And American doctors. Thanks for saving my life, doc. Wait, no, I can pay with Dogecoin. Unlike any other Far Cry game, Jack has no rebel support, can't carry around medical supplies, and doesn't even have body armor crafted from the local honey badger population. All he has is a red shirt, which alerts everyone in a 1 kilometer radius to his presence.
Break left! Go right! What?
Jack lives a peaceful life in the middle of the Pacific Ocean running a boat charter until a woman comes in and ruins it. The woman in question is an undercover CIA operative who dresses like she's modeling for a calendar shoot at all times. She takes Jack to a remote archipelago and promptly fucks off in a jet ski, leaving him to be RPG'd out of the water. Turns out some illegal genetic research is taking place on these islands. What genetic research? I'm so glad you asked. Meet Greg, our local guide and the only non-hostile mutant I've come across, thereby making him their de facto ambassador.
Hey, what's up, you sad bitches?
Yo, Greg, chill. Don't forget, you're representing all the mutants.
First off, we're called Tridents. Stop saying mutants, you racist, bigoted piece of shit.
I'm sorry you had to see that, but there's no way I'm letting...
I ain't so easy to kill.
Mutants in the game come in all sizes. We got the small, the medium, the slim fit and the extra large. Starting off the Trident roster, we have the mutant monkeys.
My name is Jeff. That's Jeff.
Besides proving that God doesn't exist, these little abominations make up 100% of the jump scares in the game. I think the AI is glitched. That's not how you reach up there. What the fuck? I think there's one around here. Hear that? Oh no, medium size. Oh, just from looking at this troglodyte, you may not be able to tell, but he's actually a big grasshopper with an assault rifle. Trident scouts like him will take an evolutionary leap to higher vantage points, and then proceed to gun down all those who have skipped leg day. Lumbering in next, we have the big boys. It takes a small army to gun them down, but since you're by yourself, you'll have to feed them bullets for breakfast, lunch and dinner before they're ready to go to sleep. Therefore, it's good that these Tridents have never done a day of cardio in their lives, and for once, you can run away from the biggest problems in yours. Krieger must have started facing budget cuts by the time they got to making these, because even their rockets are too slow. Slow to the point of defying physics, because you can drive away from them.
What the hell is even that?
There is one more mutant in this lineup, but you can't see him because his name is
John Cena!
But seriously though, these Tridents are the toughest to fight. Much like my self-esteem, they have the ability to disappear whenever they come under fire. Then you almost use echolocation to determine their general position, before bombarding it with every explosive ordnance at your disposal. That is, until you realize you have thermal vision, which is called cry vision in game for some reason. Then they're just skinny creeps that die faster than any other mutant.
Fun fact, there are a few more Tridents Krieger couldn't complete because you fucking nuked them and your name isn't even Duke.
Oh yeah.
Here's one of them.
Oh, what the hell is that?
He is screwed.
Yeah, I can see that.
No, he is literally classified as mutant screwed.
Well, thanks for the nightmares, Greg.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I don't know what these guys thought they were signing up for or how much they're getting paid, but whatever it is definitely not enough. Now that's what you call false advertising. Whenever you engage them, they state their intentions very clearly and concisely.
I'm gonna shoot you in the face! Stop this! Fight my ass! You're dead! You want more of this? I got more of this! I'll take you down! Ah! Suck it down!
Sure, they may look and sound funny, but they pose a serious threat to your self-respect as a gamer. You would think it would be pretty easy to outsmart AI, which was created in the same year as Google's IPO launch. But these guys are very accurate, well coordinated and can put Jack in a box in a single burst. I can clear most outposts in Far Cry 5 with one hand resting comfortably on my dick as my pet bear mauls the Gomless zealots while I sit far away on a hill and snipe whoever is left. On the other hand, taking on a camp in OG Far Cry is like a 1v10 match of Counter-Strike, requiring planning, presence of mind and a lot of headshots. Sure, you can still get easy kills from a sniper, but its ammo is really hard to come by, plus they have their own snipers. More importantly, the mercenaries have somehow managed to recruit the demigod Heimdall and have given him a rocket launcher, which is why, regardless of where you are in the universe, he will see you and unload a Kartusha worth of salvos on you. I'm gonna take the biggest.
What's that? Oh, what the?
As if all of this was not enough, halfway through, the game decides it's going to help you increase your pain tolerance. Introducing Elite Mercenaries that can tank entire magazines and take a 50 caliber round to the face. It's these guys and not the default mutants which give Far Cry its true horror experience. As you load from the same checkpoint for the 13th time, sitting at the edge of your seat, firing desperate bursts of headshots, praying that there isn't someone around the corner coming to flank you. Then entering a maze with a sniper and a Heimdall on the far side and elite mercenaries at every passage. Sitting there, cowering in the darkness because you're 10 minutes away from the checkpoint, with footsteps all around you and your thermal vision running out. That is when you realize why the game calls it Cry Vision. Keep in mind, these are the state of affairs on the challenging difficulty. I had initially started on the realistic difficulty, and after dying to a single burst of bullets 6 times on the first level, I decided I didn't really hate myself enough to go through with this. And this coming from a guy who has finished 2 Dark Souls games without bursting a blood vessel. Hey Greg!
Yeah.
You wanna hear a joke?
Yeah, sure.
Why did the King's Jester get swallowed up by a sea monster?
Why?
Cause he was cracking too many jokes. Oh fuck you, it wasn't that bad. Jack's refusal to remove or change his red shirt has been getting him publicly violated since the very first cutscene. It's all he could do to hide, run and swim to the relative safety of some ruins, where he collapsed and passed out from exhaustion.
So, you are finally awake.
Here, a man is waiting for him. On a video call. On a flip phone.
What the hell is even that?
He informs you that he is the only black guy on the island and funnily enough, your freedom is in his hands. His name is Doyle. He is a CIA informant working for Krieger. Since the CIA didn't send any real agents for this mutant monkey business, he wants to enlist Jack's help in taking down old Zuckerman and his entire operation. Alright Jack, let's talk 1-to-1 here.
Yeah.
And I need you to pay attention for this because I'm gonna review your options now. Your first option, and stay with me on this one, you can hop onto the first boat you find and ride off into the sunset. Or you could stay and help the CIA, one of the most hated organizations on the planet. Okay, for some reason you're still not sure, so let's look at the risk to reward ratio. On the risk side, you have an entire mercenary army armed to the teeth with gunships and Humvees. Most of the facilities and forests you're gonna traverse are gonna be infested with Tridents. And finally, after you get through all of this, you're gonna reach Krieger's office, which mind you, is on a volcano. Then you're gonna have to face his elite guard and possibly trained Tridents. And on the reward side, you might get to clap this field agent's cheeks.
Right, I'll do it.
and as a final act of badassery, Jack carves himself and the game out of the Far Cry universe and canonically becomes a part of the Crysis universe, exchanging his plot armor for a nanosuit. That last part is referred to as headcanon.
Maximum strength.
Despite the Far Cry IP having been sold off to Ubisoft after the first game, as a spiritual ancestor it introduced many of the themes and mechanics that the other Far Cry games built upon. Much like the player, the main character is also an outsider to the setting. He is unexpectedly plunged into a conflict between a good and a bad group, which just happens to be taking place in geographically exotic wilderness. The protagonist is initially reluctant and taken aback by the situation he finds himself in, but soon he develops stakes and a connection with the good side, ultimately being the one who brings about the villain's downfall. This plot outline of Far Cry can be used to describe the stories of most subsequent Far Cry games. It's a great outline after all, you know what they say, don't break what you can't fix. Talking of something that they can't seem to fix, stealth versus guns blazing gameplay alternatives. This system is especially broken in this first game. There is only one silenced gun, the MP5. Until you get that, you are only in stealth mode for as long as the first shot is fired. After that, all the mercenaries on the current island, their jeeps, their choppers and their boats are gonna start wedging their way up your ass crack. Which is why to go into stealth mode in the early game, you have to draw their attention away by throwing rocks. Let's see how that works out.
You see that guy?
I have to say, Crytek have done way too good of a job on the AI. When a man with military training on a dangerous island sees a rock flying over his head, he's not gonna start walking towards where the rock landed. Instead, he will draw his gun and shoot the ever-living shit out of the bush it came from. This is not a bug, it's a feature. To those uninitiated into the hardcore gaming school of thought, some of the things I've said may have sounded like criticisms. Allow me to clarify, I love this game. It perfectly simulates the world it builds. Of course, being a lone man against a well-equipped army is going to be hard. Of course, mutants engineered for war are gonna be tanky. And of course, if you play on the realistic difficulty, you're gonna be realistically dead with a single bullet to the head. The mercenaries make for the perfect enemy soldier. They're brutal, but they're fair. They're simple, yet they're charismatic. They have very relatable and hilarious conversations regarding their situation and current events in every level.
You think they'll make a gym with a pool?
A pool? The ocean is right there, you idiot.
You see anything?
You think I'd be standing around like this if I'd seen anything?
I don't know. I was just asking, because I think I might have seen something.
Then say something, you jackass. If you see something, you gotta yell out and let everyone know.
I know, but it turned out to be nothing. I checked.
And when you checked, if it had been something, what would have you done then?
I would have said something.
The insults and provocations they hurl at you during firefights never get old. And by the end of the game, they've become more endearing than most Far Cry villains. After all, you're just like them. A foot soldier thrown into a lot more than he signed up for. Far Cry 1's iconic missions, enemies and difficulty is what has kept me coming back to it over the years. While every other Far Cry's monotonous experience has faded from memory. You could say I'm biased, wearing nostalgia goggles thicker than a big boy's skull. You could say I'm a sucker for that beautiful smile. And in either case, you'd be right. I'm not denying there aren't issues with the game or its story, if you can even call it that.
I've only taken a few thousand years of evolution and put it into a test tube.
Few thousand years of evolution.
Huh. Looks about right. The tropical paradise, the gung-ho mercs and the freaks of nature, when mixed together, cause a spontaneous combustion of complete absurdity. An experience which, much like abstract art, leaves you wondering, was that utter nonsense or a goddamned masterpiece? The sandbox editor of the game is incredibly unintuitive. To properly use it for the purposes of this video, my only resource was a 1000+ page user manual, which I read in its entirety. And it still didn't tell me half the things I needed, so I had to resort to trial and error. Please like and subscribe to give some meaning to my suffering. Despite its shortcomings, Far Cry has one thing in vast quantities which sets it apart from its corporatized descendants. Simple charm. The game is positively brimming with character and ambition. You can tell the developers were really enjoying themselves, pushing the game's new physics engine to its limits. Using the game's level editor makes you realize that they may not have gotten the time and resources they needed to complete the game as they had envisioned it. There are many incomplete mutant models, and even even the existing Trident AI is barely functional. Compared to the sprawling, well-structured initial levels, some of the later ones seem pretty rushed. It is clear that Crytek had struggled with Far Cry's development, so they dropped one final patch, version 1.4, which unfortunately broke the game's AI. Then they cried briefly in the shower, before naming their next game after their experience with Far Cry. The devs jumped for the stars, hit their head on the ceiling, caught a concussion, and passed out. A glorious effort, and we got an incredible game from it. Gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. It takes about a month to make these videos, so if you don't want to lose me to the algorithm, please consider subscribing. Stay classy, dodge cringe, and I'll see you in the next one.